Do aliens exist? And if they do, could they be responsible for the moon's existence? The Earth's moon has captivated the imagination of scientists and ordinary people alike since its discovery thousands of years ago, and it still continues to be an object of interest today. But what if we told you that the answer to one of the greatest mysteries surrounding the moon may have been solved? That even if aliens do exist, they may not be responsible for our lunar companion after all? There are many things we still don't know about the moon, and one of those is whether it really exists. There are some people who believe that the moon doesn't actually exist and that it was created by aliens. One of these people is a professor at Harvard University named Dr. Harriton Smith Cooming, who believes that there were UFOs on the moon back in 1965. He cites NASA footage showing an unknown object in space near the moon as evidence of this theory. According to him, the object seen in that video footage might have been of extraterrestrial origin. Another man who has proposed the idea of extraterrestrial life living on our planet is Robert Krieger from Arlington, Texas. Mr. Krieger has said he thinks the moon might not only be an alien structure, but also may have been created by them with us humans as their experimental lab rats. He says if you look closely at photographs taken during the Apollo missions, you can see UFOs flying around the surface of the moon. What's more, he has suggested that research data collected from our satellites could be flawed because scientists might have deliberately withheld information from us so as to prevent panic among Earthlings. The Apollo missions explored the surface of the moon and found no evidence of life. However, we have not been back since 1972. There are many stories about UFOs on the moon, with some people claiming that there is an alien base built on one of its craters. Other people believe that there was a nuclear explosion which caused the moon to form from debris and dust left over from Earth as it cooled down. If this is true, then it means that aliens did exist here in our solar system at one point in time. But just because we haven't seen any UFOs or taken pictures of aliens doesn't mean they don't exist. Some astronauts who claim to have gone to the moon said they saw a giant UFO following them while they were flying their spaceship. They said it looked like Saturn and seemed so big that it could have been mistaken for a planet rather than an object. It followed them until they went behind the far side of the moon, and when they came back around, it was gone without a trace. Some people think that these UFOs are the ones who created the moon and put it into orbit around Earth. Others think they're still out there, keeping track of us, waiting to come visit us again. In conclusion, does extraterrestrial life exist, and if so, is it responsible for the creation of the moon? Nobody knows for sure, but keep your eyes open and you might find something. Many people believe that UFOs are present on the moon. This is because there have been many reports of UFOs in the sky and on the surface of the moon. Scientists have studied these reports and found no evidence to support these beliefs. They claim that there is no way that any sort of spacecraft could fly to or land on the moon with current technology and survive in such an environment. They also point out that there is no evidence that this has ever happened before. Some scientists speculate that UFOs may not be from Earth, but from another planet instead. There are a few people who say that their family members were abducted by extraterrestrials. These stories may not be true, but some believe them anyway, because they would like to know what it would feel like to meet a new type of life form and explore new worlds. I invite you to think. If we are fighting for the conquest of space, it is then possible that this same fight also exists on other planets. Therefore, I will never discard the idea of the possibility of extraterrestrial people, inhabitants of different spheres, who have already conquered outer space. To think that we are the only ones in such a huge space, made up of millions and millions of planets, is too reactionary and snobbish. Many wise men previously thought the moon was a piece of Earth projected into outer space. Yet, the carbon-14 tests were definitive. Earthlings arrived at the logical conclusion that the moon existed before the Earth. The moon is older than the Earth, which is sensational. All those wise men who in the past maintained the theory that the moon was a piece of the Earth projected into outer space were lamentably mistaken. I repeat, tests and rigorous analysis of the lunar rocks by means of carbon-14 indicated to Earthlings that those wise men who in the past maintained the thesis that the moon was a piece of the Earth were mistaken. Even with the advancements in space travel we've made in recent years, the moon remains one of the great mysteries of the universe. Although we've been on the moon, sent robots to its surface, and photographed it from almost every angle imaginable, there are still plenty of questions about our closest celestial neighbor that remain unanswered, and there are plenty of theories attempting to answer those questions as well. So what do we really know about the moon? What don't we know? Therefore, we are in times of great scientific concern for the world. We must reflect deeply upon all of these things, at least for a while. Obviously, we Earthlings struggle for the conquest of space, and we are sincerely doing it. Our scientists fly upon the wings of their projects towards a future in which the Earthlings definitively conquer other woe. Nevertheless, we must not in any way become fascinated with so many sophisms. Instead, it is convenient that we by our own means investigate for ourselves. In this way, we will probably avoid many disappointment.